city with soul, so pretty it glows like a star in the night sky, glistening bold. The southern hospitality is citizen code, yeah, sweeter than the sugar on a cinnamon roll. Visitors know the sentiments of genuine folks when they smile at a stranger and they bid you hello. From the yellow brick path to the grittiest road, victory showed and stories that the history told. Take pride in the fact that the struggle don't define us. Markers scattered around the city to remind us we all one kind us, so choose kindness and praise God we deliver from the blindness. The artists, the writers, the teachers, the guiders, preachers, baristas, workers on their feet till they tired. Come and visit, we got plenty to show. In the heart of Mississippi, it's the city with soul.
Jackson is a beautiful city filled with promise. It is a community that really deserves and demands the best out of life. As the city has been dealing with inconsistency in its billing, that's ultimately a result of a failed contract for new water meters that took place some time ago. What that resulted in was an inability to receive consistent registry of the consumption of our residents. And that was failing at far too significant of a rate for the city to be able to chase behind that problem.
We couldn't determine if it was data or if it was device, and we've decided it's both of them. The devices were not reading to the AMI system in the air, and the data wasn't exchanging over between the two systems. One of the biggest messages we have to do is to increase customers' confidence here at the city. It's been many, many years that the bills have gone out incorrectly or have not gone out at all. People have high balances, and we have got to turn this ship around. The WSBA meter remediation project is basically a holistic approach to fixing the entire business office, including the failed meters and the software that's not reading the meters. So we're coming at it in every direction. I think we have picked the best implementer. We chose Utility Metering Solutions. They're going to do the best job, and they're going to help us really turn this around.
You know, as we look to correct this problem, we felt that we had to be far more intentional going in. And so we wanted to make certain that we found a meter that had a high level of accuracy that could do the communication that was necessary.
We don't currently have a window into the system for our customers. And we've included with the upgrade a digital self-serve solution which will allow them to log in from an iPad or a cell phone and be able to look into their usage. They'll be able to move their service. They can sign up for paperless billing. There's just a tremendous amount of 21st century things that we are bringing to the customers that they have not had in the past.
But more important than that, the ability to be able to receive accurate, dependable bills each and every month means that people can set their budget around that.
The improvements will allow us to have more substantial revenues moving forward where we can apply it toward infrastructure improvements, and it's needed. UMS will be going through and removing existing meters and putting new meters into the ground.
As far as for our residential customers, they will notice a UMS truck in their yard or in the neighborhood. We expect that the meter exchange should take no more than 30 minutes. That's as long as they'll go without water. And then they should leave a door tag letting you know that your meter has been swapped out. And we are also going to keep a running list on the city's website that people can periodically check to see if they are in the schedule to have their meter replaced.
We are in the process of surveying at people's homes. So if you see an individual in your yard and they're taking a picture of your water meter, do not fret. They are there to ensure better reliability and accuracy in your water billing.
For commercial customers, it's a little different because we don't want business interruption. So we're going to do our very best to kind of schedule those based on the needs of a business and then choose times that's best for them. Once customers are able to look into their accounts and see their status and manage their data on their own, we really think that we're going to improve customer confidence. We have been very careful to use what we've learned in the past and kind of making a good path going forward.
We hope that we're able to march through this process systematically, thoughtfully, and ultimately for the benefit of our residents. Good evening. I stand before you today both humbled and grateful to have been re-elected for another 4 years. You have blessed me with a rare opportunity that has not been extended to city leadership for more than 2 decades. We've come through a lot together this past term. We faced a 30-year flood, tornadoes, freezing temperatures that exposed existing vulnerabilities in our infrastructure, and a global pandemic that has fostered a historic rise in violent crime. We came through all of this together. I've always said that Jackson's greatest resource is our residents, and you have proven this in these trying times, demonstrating your courage in the face of daunting odds. So I thank you again, Jackson, for your resilience and your love for this city, and for your trust in me. You've heard me say this before, and it still holds true. I firmly believe in collective genius over the voices of a few. It takes all of our voices to gather the insight, wisdom, and guidance we need to innovate and move forward. Like an iceberg, the challenges we face as a city are much larger than what you see on the surface. Much of my strategic plan for the city, which I unveiled in my first term, was built on the belief that real change does not come overnight. While this may be understandably frustrating for residents, we believe that it is better to take small steps in the right direction than giant leaps in the wrong direction. Our problems require a commitment to finding innovative solutions to long-standing issues, a bold vision for realizing Jackson's full potential, and the expertise necessary to bring that vision into fruition. They also require commitment to service on behalf of the people of Jackson based on a love for this city and its residents. This is why we are so excited about the new additions to our leadership team, who have graciously agreed to serve this great city for the next 4 years. Louis Wright joins us as our new Chief Administrative Officer. Fidelis Melembeka joins us as our Chief Financial Officer, a newly created position. And Katoria Martin joins us as our new City Attorney. Combined, they bring over 100 years of service and high-level management experience from various sectors: academia, business, private industry, government, and utilities. And they exemplify all of the qualities needed to move us to where we want to go. I also want to acknowledge those who have agreed to continue on in service in this term: Dr. Safia Mari, our Chief of Staff, and all of the hard-working directors. Additionally, I'd like to express gratitude to all of our city workers for your service to the city. Of course, I must thank my lovely and brilliant wife, Dr. Ebony Lumumba, whose hard work and commitment to our family allows me to do this work I do. To my beautiful daughters, Alake and Nubia, you truly inspire me to work to change the world from where I stand. I love you. I'd also like to acknowledge our City Council for the work they do to represent their wards, our state and county leaders who are committed to working with us to improve the capital city, our JPS leadership and school board members who are doing amazing work to provide a quality education for our children, and the members of our congressional delegation who have consistently worked with us to find solutions to our major infrastructure problems. Thank you for the work and support you do. It is noted and appreciated. All of these individuals play a key role in how we envision the world and implement change from where we stand. But it takes all of us to truly make a difference. That is why one of the accomplishments we're most proud of is bringing you to the table and sparking a broader community interest in city governance. It is critical that we share with you the work and priorities of this administration and what we hope to accomplish in the coming year. We need our local media to not only be vehicles of accountability, but also portals of necessary information. This is why we host regular press briefings to keep you engaged and informed. We want you to know that the work we started doing during our first 4 years is beginning to take shape. And we are in a much better place now and will be in an even better position 4 years from now. At the heart of our vision for moving forward is continuing to build the dignity economy, one where happiness and quality of life isn't reserved for the few, where residents live in affordable housing and feel safe in their communities, where families have access to quality physical and mental health care and healthy foods, where living wage jobs are abundant and quality education is a given, where clean water and clean air are not taken for granted. These are fundamental human rights, but in a city like Jackson, providing these quality of life issues require a radical departure from business as usual, a challenge that this administration fully intends to meet. These are central tenets of our vision. Sadly, a rise in violent crime in Jackson and across the nation have eclipsed many of the good things we are doing to uplift our city. When we talk about crime in Jackson, I want you to know I grieve with the victims of violent crime. Other mayors and city leaders across this country are also witnessing historic rise in violent crime. Like them, I'm troubled by the sense of desperation, particularly among our youth, that exists in our communities. I'm heartbroken when anyone in this city dies. As a father, I'm particularly heartbroken when the young children in our community are killed in crossfire from gun violence, when random shots from high-powered semi-automatic rifles shatter the peace. All deaths are tragic. But I immediately think of 5-year-old Queeniana Davis and 11-year-old Jordan McCoy, and too many other innocent children who have died or been injured by gun violence. I proposed a ban on open carry in Jackson shortly after these tragedies. Everyone wants to talk about the murder rate, but no one wants to discuss the unprecedented proliferation of illegal weapons in our communities. Not only are we willing to do anything and everything possible to prevent this and other tragedies from occurring again, we have also shown that we are willing to challenge bad law and encouraging that you do the same. We want you to know that we have done this to protect our residents. The reality is that this administration has not defunded the police. Instead, we raised the base salary of officers graduating from the academy and increased the salaries of corporals, even with a limited budget in the middle of a pandemic. We pursued federal and state funding to provide our officers with the latest technology in policing: body cameras, new patrol vehicles, SUVs, laptops, and equipment for the newly established $4 million real-time command center. We realize the importance of hiring more officers and can point to over 10 separate recruitment academies that occurred under this administration. JPD held its first promotional exam for sergeants in quite some time, culminating in over a dozen officers being promoted, which substantially increased morale. We made it mandatory that policing serves the community and signed executive orders that ban questionable and potential life-threatening chokeholds and similar restraints. We also want you to know the work continues on the streets with Strong Arms of Jackson and the work of the People's Advocacy Institute in violence interruption, in training academies, and also in the churches and neighborhood associations which meet across the city. We know it takes all elements of the community in a block-by-block approach, in collaboration with law enforcement, to truly regain the trust of our neighborhoods. This struggle reminds me of Romans 12:21. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. We made excellent progress in our fire department as well. We purchased 7 new trucks, 1 137-foot ladder truck, 6 rescue units, new jaws, spreaders, fans, and cutters for rescue units, and 1 new mini rescue pumper. We also broke ground on a brand new Fire Station 20 to service Hawkins Field and the surrounding Medgar Evers Boulevard community. This new station should be completed by summer of 2022. Additionally, raises for LDOs within the fire department were included in the 2022 budget. Currently, the fire department is almost fully staffed for the first time in a number of years. This can be attributed in part to a decrease in the age limit for becoming a firefighter from 21 to 18, providing Jackson youth with the opportunity to pursue a career immediately upon leaving high school. JFD also established a fire science program at Callaway High School and are working to expand this program in other high schools. We are proud of our first responders and the service they provide to the city. It is well known that we have major challenges with our infrastructure. It is simple. The needs of our city exceed our financial resources, so we have to be smart. The 1% sales tax my father championed and voters overwhelmingly supported has helped us significantly in getting major corridors within the city paved. But it is the proverbial drop in the bucket given our overall needs. We are restructuring our Public Works Department so that we may more efficiently serve you, dividing a massive department with broad and diverse responsibilities into 3 areas of distinct responsibilities and leadership: facilities, engineering and capital projects, and water sewer business administration. This administration is busy working on multiple long-term plans to update, modernize, and replace much of our outdated infrastructure, including our bridges and drainage. We have committed 61% of the first half of our American Rescue Plan Act funds to Public Works to begin work on a 40-inch water main to improve water distribution to areas of South Jackson. We are investing millions to ensure that Jackson residents don't have to endure a lack of clean water again. This means we are working to weatherize our water plants and make the necessary improvements to our water system. The source of much of our financial instability comes from our inability to collect on water bills. It accounts for a loss of millions of dollars each year, dollars that would normally be used for maintenance and upgrades at our water and sewer plants, paving streets and repairing and replacing water and sewer pipes underground. We have been strategic and deliberate in finding solutions to this problem. We sued Siemens and used the settlement from that lawsuit to prop up our insolvent water sewer enterprise. We knew we needed to provide some relief to our residents for the mistakes made in the past. This is why we were deliberate in providing a customer bill of rights, a water bill review process, and forgiveness programs. And it is why we successfully lobbied the legislature for a forgiveness plan and supported a payment relief program for 2 years in a row. We purchased a new billing system that is now live. We know that accurate and consistent billing will restore our residents' trust in the system. We are also excited to announce that we are replacing all of our faulty and ineffective water meters, and it is happening as I speak. We are currently replacing commercial meters and will transition to residential meters by spring 2022. We expect that we will replace all meters, commercial and residential, in the next 2 years. You will be able to get all the information you need on the new meters, how they work, new online payment options, and a payment arrangement system on our city website. As much as any city in the nation, we are looking with optimism to our federal and state partners for their help while we continue to work on our infrastructure. When we came into office 4 years ago, we found a way to not only take our city employees off of furlough, but to also give them their first cost of living increase in over 12 years. Investment in our workforce isn't just the ethical and moral thing to do. It is good public policy. When workers know that they are valued, they are more productive. We have been plagued with turnover and an inability to recruit quality personnel, not just in the police department, but in every department in the city. And we regularly see our best and brightest spirited away by the promise of higher wages. So we are committed to finding a way within our tight budget to provide city employees with a living wage that truly reflects the value of what they do. And we expect to accomplish this massive overhaul of our pay structure this term. Last year, when we couldn't afford salary increases, we became one of the only municipalities in the country to cover 100% of the health insurance premiums for all city employees. This is significant because it resulted in a bump in take-home pay. More importantly, it gave our workers a health care safety net during a global pandemic that has ravaged our communities. Our belief in providing a living wage and health benefits, however, does not stop with city workers. We believe companies that contract with the city should show similar value in its workers. This is at the heart of the recent controversy regarding our garbage collection contract. The goal is not to be at war with City Council in a contract approval process. Our residents are best served when we collectively work together. However, accepting the status quo or second best based on relationships is no longer acceptable if we are to move our city forward. When we responded to the coronavirus in Jackson, we took bold measures to do everything to prevent the spread of the virus. I was one of the first mayors in the state to institute a mask mandate. We created a COVID task force, set up a COVID tracker database to determine what segments of our community were most vulnerable, and provided resources across the city. We set up a warm line to address the social anxiety, depression, and discomfort from stay-at-home measures that disrupted our underlying need for social interaction. With assistance from the Department of Health, we initiated vaccination days at locations that all of our residents could reach. The biggest regret for us would have been the conclusion that we could have done more. And since we didn't, we put lives in jeopardy. This is why I kept a mask mandate in place in Jackson, even under great pressure as coronavirus cases began to drop. Our COVID task force warned me that a more aggressive strain could lead to an additional surge of cases and deaths, and that our vaccination rates were not where they needed to be. As we have adjusted and businesses have reflexively catered to the needs of their customers, we're beginning to see a resurgence of commerce in Jackson. Even as the pandemic continues, we've been resilient and have developed ways to continue growing our economy. And I want all Jackson residents to know we're right on track. I promised we would, and we are investing in the Jackson Zoo, in the neighborhood and the neighborhood around it, including long overdue paving work on West Capitol Street and Ellis Avenue. We've also done major work at the zoo to bring it into compliance with the USDA. Community groups have pitched in, all with the goal of keeping the zoo in West Jackson and uplifting the neighborhood. In other exciting news, millions of dollars of upgrades have been made to the planetarium, and it will again be open, bringing in revenue and giving visitors a first-class experience. After years of a broken, debilitated parking metering system, we have installed modern, technologically advanced ones in downtown Jackson. This will bring in revenue that is sorely needed, provide ease of use to customers, and also streamline our operations. Earlier this month, I attended a ribbon cutting to celebrate the completion of an over 20-year project, culminating with the connection of West and East County Line roads. The heavily traveled roadway and undeveloped parcels are expected to be a boon for future economic investment and development for the Tougaloo community. We will also soon see the digging of dirt in the first phase of a mixed-use development near the Jackson Medical Mall. The first priority of the developers of the Village at Livingston Place project will be to build up 200 homes to accommodate the residents and families in the neighborhood, and later, commercial and retail space. We are lighting the fiber on our own broadband infrastructure, one that will bring some of the fastest internet speeds in the nation to city departments and JPS. Our goal from there is to expand to the residential market and provide substantially more affordable and significantly better service. We've also dug in deep and are planting the seeds for a healthier Jackson. The very space where I am standing now, the Eco Shed, was inspired by the City of Jackson's Fertile Ground project. We've taken note of the prevalence of food deserts and food swamps where healthier food options don't exist and where unhealthy food options are everywhere. Our Jackson Meals Matter program not only provided healthy meals during the pandemic, they also provided education and healthy food options. Our planning department and Director Jordan Hillman have been instrumental in re-envisioning our transportation infrastructure, especially JTRAN, where we have replaced our entire fleet and determined a new routing system that will give our residents access to healthier food options. That's not to mention the work that has established the City of Jackson, of all places, as a breeding ground for homegrown, organic, fresh vegetables found at Footprint Farms and now being grown on campuses across JPS. We still have a way to go to achieve our collective vision, but I am certain we are on the right track. Many of Jackson's problems are historic and will take time to set pathways to sustainable progress. But we are on our way, and the best is yet to come. We believe in this, and we will continue to fight for Jackson's renaissance with all of our hearts and souls. We believe in a dignity economy, one radical enough to include the happiness and well-being of our residents. To paraphrase Romans 5:3, we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know they help us develop endurance. Good night, Jackson, and God bless.